My friends, the deepest truth of life is not found in constant struggle or in trying to control every single outcome. The real secret lies in learning how to release, how to soften your grip, and how to trust the unseen intelligence that guides everything. Letting go does not mean you stop wanting things. It means you hold your desires so clearly in your mind and heart that there is no longer any need to force them into reality. When you truly let go, you begin to understand that what you desire already exists in an invisible form, already moving toward expression. What you cling to out of fear tends to slip away, but what you release with trust seems to return in ways even greater than expected. Relaxation is not laziness or inaction. It is one of the highest forms of creation, because in that state, you are no longer resisting life, you are cooperating with it. When the mind becomes calm and the body feels at ease, you naturally align with something greater than yourself. Life does not respond to panic, pressure, or desperation. It responds to the quiet confidence of your inner state. In stillness, everything begins to organize itself in the right direction. The world around you is not something that simply happens to you. It reflects what is happening within you. Your inner world shapes your outer experience. If fear, doubt, and resistance dominate your inner state, you will see those same patterns reflected back in your life. But if you cultivate peace, trust, and quiet expectation, then life mirrors that harmony back to you. Trust becomes the bridge between what you desire and what eventually manifests. Just like planting a seed, you do not dig it up every day to check its growth. You water it, you trust it, and you allow nature to do its work beneath the surface. Your imagination is where everything begins. Every thought, every image you consistently hold inside you is like a seed placed in the soil of consciousness. When you live in the feeling that your desire is already real, you begin to shift into alignment with it. Life then starts to reorganize itself to match that inner belief. So the key is simple. Let go of struggle, release tension, and trust that life is working in your favor even when you cannot see how. Letting go is often misunderstood. People think it means giving up or losing control, but it is actually the opposite. It is an act of deep trust. It is recognizing that there is a higher wisdom at work in your life, one that sees far beyond what the limited mind can understand. When you stop forcing outcomes, you stop resisting the natural flow of life. And in that surrender, you begin to move in harmony with something far greater than yourself. This does not mean you stop caring about your dreams. It means you stop chasing them with anxiety and fear. You no longer beg or struggle for them. Instead, you hold them in quiet faith and allow them to unfold in their own perfect timing. This is not passivity, it is intelligent trust. It is knowing that what has already been set in motion in the unseen world is already on its way to becoming visible. Think of holding sand in your hand. If you squeeze it tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you relax your hand, it rests there easily. Life works in the same way. The more you try to control everything, the more life feels like it is slipping away. But when you relax, when you soften, when you surrender, things begin to flow naturally without struggle. Letting go is not weakness. It is strength born from wisdom. It is the understanding that your limited perspective cannot always see the bigger picture, but life itself always can. When you release control, you open yourself to possibilities far greater than what you could have planned or forced. Often what unfolds is even more meaningful than what you originally imagined. This state of surrender also brings freedom. The constant weight of overthinking, worrying, and trying to control outcomes begins to fade. You start to feel lighter. You begin to move through life with ease instead of tension. Solutions appear more naturally. Opportunities seem to arise without effort. Life starts to feel like it is flowing with you rather than against you. To let go is to trust completely. It is to say within yourself, I have done my part and now I allow life to do the rest. It is walking forward with peace, knowing that what is meant for you cannot be taken away. This is not surrender in defeat, it is surrender in faith. True strength is not always about force. Sometimes it is about trusting deeply enough to release it all. Relaxation is the doorway to reconnecting with your true self. Beneath all the noise, stress, and constant mental activity, there is a deeper part of you that is always calm, always steady, and always aware. Most people lose touch with this inner presence because they are too caught up in the rush of life. But when you slow down and become still, you begin to feel it again. Relaxation is not just physical rest, it is the letting go of inner resistance. When you stop fighting your thoughts, your circumstances, and your expectations, you create space for clarity to emerge. In that space, your intuition becomes stronger, your thinking becomes clearer, and your direction in life feels more natural. Struggle creates more struggle. The more you push against life, the more resistance you experience. But when you relax, when you yield, when you trust, life begins to respond differently. It starts to flow. It starts to support you. You begin to notice that things come together without force and answers arrive without effort. Your true self does not speak loudly. It does not shout through chaos or stress. It speaks quietly through peace, through calm moments, through stillness. When you relax, you finally hear it. You begin to move not from confusion, but from inner knowing. Imagine water in your hands. If you try to grab it tightly, it escapes. But if you simply hold your hands gently, it stays. Life is the same. When you loosen your grip, you allow everything you are seeking to naturally come to you. So release the pressure. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Trust the process of life. Rest in the awareness that everything you desire is already unfolding in its own time. Stay aligned with peace, stay rooted in trust, and allow life to reveal its fullness to you in ways beyond imagination. The more you tighten your grip through fear, doubt, or the need to control everything, the more disconnected you begin to feel from your own higher self. But the moment you soften, release, and open yourself again, you realize something powerful. Your true nature was never lost. It has always been there, flowing quietly, steady, and reliable, simply waiting for you to become aware of it again. Relaxation has a way of restoring you on every level. It clears the mental clutter, dissolves emotional pressure, and brings freshness back into your mind and body. The heaviness of stress begins to fade, and in its place comes clarity. In that clarity, you remember that you are not just your problems, not just your current situation, and not just the temporary ups and downs of life. You are something far greater, an awareness that carries infinite potential within it. There is no need to constantly push or force your way forward. Most of what you are seeking does not come through effort alone, but through alignment. When you relax into your inner being, you naturally connect with the deeper intelligence that already knows the path ahead. So instead of trying to do more every time life feels overwhelming, the real shift happens when you choose to do less, to pause, and simply return to stillness. Sit quietly. Breathe slowly and deeply. Allow the tension in your body to release. Let your shoulders drop. Let your thoughts settle. In this simple act, something subtle begins to change. You are no longer escaping life, you are entering it more fully. Relaxation is not avoidance. It is actually the doorway into your most authentic self. And from that place of inner balance, life begins to move with you instead of against you. The world around you is always responding to your inner condition. Everything you experience, your relationships, your opportunities, even the challenges you face, is connected to the state of consciousness you carry within. Life is not random. It is not separate from you. It is deeply responsive, almost like a reflection that mirrors your inner world with complete honesty. Just as a mirror reflects your physical appearance without distortion, life reflects your inner thoughts, beliefs, and emotions with the same accuracy. When your inner world is filled with fear, uncertainty, or limitation, those same patterns begin to appear in your outer experience. It may feel like rejection, struggle, or lack, but it is not punishment. It is simply reflection. On the other hand, when you shift into peace, confidence, and trust, everything around you begins to shift as well. Life reorganizes itself to match your inner vibration. New doors open. Unexpected support appears. Situations that once felt stuck begin to move. Nothing external has to be forced, because the change started within you first. This is the key realization. You are not powerless in your circumstances. You are actively participating in creating them through your inner state. Every belief you hold acts like a filter shaping how you see and experience reality. If you see yourself as limited, life will reflect limitation back to you. But if you begin to see yourself as worthy, capable, and open to abundance, life has no choice but to reflect that truth back. The outer world can never change in a lasting way until the inner world shifts first. Trying to fix external situations without changing your inner state is like trying to change your reflection without changing yourself. The mirror simply responds, it does not initiate. Think back to moments when you felt truly joyful or grateful. Everything seemed lighter. People responded differently. Opportunities appeared naturally. Life felt smoother. That was not coincidence. That was your inner energy shaping your outer reality. In the same way, when you are stressed or fearful, everything can feel like it is going wrong because your inner state is being mirrored back to you. The powerful truth in all of this is that you always have access to change. You are never stuck. The moment you shift your focus from fear to trust, from lack to gratitude, from doubt to possibility, your experience begins to transform. You don't need to fight life. You need to adjust your inner frequency. Instead of trying to fix the reflection, focus on the source. Nourish your inner world with peace, belief, and clarity. When you do this consistently, the outer world naturally begins to align. At the heart of all creation is trust. Every desire begins as an unseen idea, a seed planted in the imagination. But for that seed to grow, it needs space, patience, and faith. Trust is what allows that process to unfold without interruption. Without trust, doubt creeps in. You start questioning, overthinking, and pulling apart what you are trying to create before it has time to form. It is like planting a seed and digging it up every day to check if it is growing. Growth cannot happen under pressure like that. Trust means holding your desire as already real within yourself, even before it appears physically. It is not about pretending, it is about aligning internally with what you want to experience externally. When you do that, you stop interfering with the natural process of manifestation. Like a farmer who plants seeds and then allows nature to do its work, your role is to stay steady, patient, and faithful. You water your vision with belief, not anxiety. You care for it through calm expectation, not doubt. Many people unknowingly block their own desires by constantly questioning them. They imagine something beautiful, then immediately doubt it. They affirm something, then contradict it with fear. This creates inner conflict, and that conflict slows everything down. Trust is not about controlling how or when things will happen. It is about releasing that need completely. It is the ability to say, I believe this is already in motion, even if I cannot see it yet. That inner certainty aligns you with the natural flow of life. When you trust, you stop resisting. You stop sending mixed signals to life. Instead, you send a clear and steady message of belief. And that belief becomes magnetic. It draws people, events, and opportunities toward you in ways you could not have planned. Trust is the bridge between imagination and reality. Not through force, but through alignment. And when you stay on that bridge with patience and inner calm, what once was invisible slowly begins to take form in your life. To trust is also to rest. But this kind of rest is not about stopping your life or becoming inactive. It is about moving through everything with calm confidence, with the quiet knowing that what you are looking for is already making its way toward you. In this state, you stop chasing, stop begging, and stop forcing outcomes because you realize something important. The bridge you need has already been built. Your only role is to walk across it with faith. Every thought of gratitude, every moment of confidence, every time you allow yourself to feel your desire is already fulfilled, you are taking a step on that invisible bridge. Even if you cannot see the full path, you are still moving forward. When trust becomes your way of being, manifestation stops feeling like struggle and starts becoming natural. What once felt distant begins to unfold step by step. The road may not always be visible at first, but it reveals itself as you continue walking in faith. Just like someone traveling through thick fog, you don't see the entire journey at once, you only see enough for the next step. And that is enough. Desire gives you direction, but trust is what actually carries you forward, step by step, even when the destination is not fully visible yet. Everything in creation follows this same truth. What you trust internally eventually becomes your external experience. Trust is the unseen bridge that connects your inner longing to its outer fulfillment, your imagination to its physical reality. When you step onto that bridge with certainty, the journey is no longer uncertain. It is already unfolding exactly as it should. Every achievement, every invention, every breakthrough in human history began in the unseen world of imagination. Before anything existed in physical form, it first lived as an idea in someone's mind. A building was first imagined. A journey was first visualized. A discovery was first conceived in thought. The invisible always comes before the visible. Imagination is the ground where all reality begins to form. But imagination on its own is not enough. Without faith, it remains fragile like a seed that never gets watered. Faith is what nourishes that seed. It gives strength to what you imagine and allows it to grow beyond doubt. Together, imagination and faith become the creative force that shapes your future. Imagination is not just daydreaming or escaping reality. It is the creative ability of your mind to shape what is possible. When you picture yourself in a better state, more peaceful, more abundant, more fulfilled, you are not pretending. You are initiating creation at its source. You are giving form to something that has not yet appeared physically. But for that inner picture to become real, faith must support it. Faith is the deep inner knowing that what you see within you is already true in its unseen form. Even when there is no physical evidence, faith holds steady. It does not collapse when circumstances disagree. It simply continues to say, this is already mine, and it is on its way. Without faith, imagination quickly breaks under pressure. Doubt weakens it. Fear dissolves it. But when faith is strong, the vision becomes unshakable. External conditions may not match it yet, but your inner belief remains firm. And that inner firmness begins to influence everything around you. Think of walking through a dark forest with only a small light in your hand. You cannot see the entire path, but you can see enough to take the next step. That is how imagination and faith work together. Imagination shows you the destination. Faith gives you enough light to keep moving forward, even when you cannot see everything clearly. As you continue walking, more of the path reveals itself. What was once hidden begins to unfold naturally. Without imagination, you would have no direction. Without faith, you would never move forward. But together, they create steady progress toward the life you are meant to experience. Your present circumstances are not permanent truths. They are simply reflections of past thoughts, past beliefs, and past imagination. If you want a different future, you must begin by imagining it now and strengthening it with faith. You must start to live internally as though it is already real. When you hold a vision with clarity and belief, and you begin to align your thoughts and feelings with it, the unseen starts to take shape. The external world slowly adjusts itself to match your inner state. What once seemed impossible begins to organize itself in ways you could not have planned. Imagination is the blueprint. Faith is the builder. One creates the design and the other brings it into reality. When both are working together, nothing is out of reach. Hold on to your vision. Protect it with belief. Trust that even when you cannot see the full path, everything is already being arranged behind the scenes. The unseen is always preparing what the physical world has not yet revealed. To live fully, you must rest in the knowing that it is already done. Every desire you hold, every dream you carry already exists in an invisible form. The moment you truly accept it within yourself, it begins to take shape in consciousness. From that point on, your job is not to force it into existence, but to remain steady in trust. This kind of rest is not weakness. It is one of the most powerful states of creation you can enter, because when you rest in certainty, you stop resisting life, and life begins to flow toward you with ease. It is the inner state of a person who no longer lives in doubt, no longer questions every step, and no longer waits in uncertainty. Instead, they begin to move through life with calm confidence, already feeling as though their desire is complete. Fulfillment does not begin outside, it starts within. The external world is not the source of your reassurance, it is only reflecting what already exists inside your consciousness. To truly live in fulfillment, you must accept it now, not someday in the future when proof appears. Because when you keep waiting, you are silently reinforcing the idea that it is missing. But when you settle into the feeling that it is already done, you begin to embody its presence. And life has no option but to reflect that inner certainty back to you. Think about how you feel when something you deeply wanted has already happened. There is relief, gratitude, peace, and a quiet joy. There is no struggle in that state, no desperation, no uncertainty. That is the emotional place you are meant to return to even before anything changes externally. You are not pretending, you are choosing to live from the feeling of completion first. To live in the end means to carry that inner feeling as your reality right now. Even if nothing around you has changed yet, you begin to walk, think, and feel as though it already belongs to you. And slowly the outer world adjusts itself to match that inner certainty. This does not mean ignoring life or escaping reality. It means moving through life with steady trust. You stop chasing signs, stop begging for outcomes, and stop questioning when or how things will happen. Instead, you trust the process deeply, like a farmer who knows the seed is already working beneath the soil. Just as you never doubt the sun will rise, you begin to hold the same unshakable trust in your desire. When this trust settles in, something powerful happens inside you. You become lighter. The constant pressure of striving begins to fade. You are no longer living as someone who is searching. You begin to live as someone who already has. You shift from seeking to receiving, from hoping to knowing. This inner shift changes everything. Life begins to respond differently. Circumstances rearrange without force. People show up at the right time. Opportunities appear in ways you did not plan. Not because you chased them, but because your inner state aligned with them. The universe always mirrors the certainty you hold within. To live fulfilled is to walk through each day with the feeling that nothing is missing. Even before anything is physically visible, you carry the emotional truth of completion inside you. The more you stay in that state, the more naturally life begins to reflect it back. Fulfillment is not something you chase. It is something you step into, something you accept, something you embody. When you rest in the knowing that it is already done, you begin to notice a shift, not just in your mind, but in your entire experience of life. Everything starts to move with less resistance. At its core, life is not about forcing outcomes or holding on tightly to desires. It is about remembering your inner truth and aligning with it. When you relax, let go, and trust, you naturally return to the flow of creation. And in that flow, life stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling like cooperation. The universe has never been against you. It has always been responding to you, reflecting your inner world with complete honesty. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your imagination, and your level of trust all shape the reality you experience. Your desires are not far away. They already exist in unseen form, waiting for your inner alignment. The only real shift required is to rest in the knowing that it is already done, to live as if it is already yours. When you do this consistently, peace replaces anxiety, certainty replaces doubt, and fulfillment becomes your natural state. So release resistance. Stop struggling against life. Relax into who you truly are. Trust deeply, imagine clearly, believe fully, and most importantly, rest in the end result. Because in that state, what once was invisible begins to take form in your reality. And slowly, the life you once hoped for starts unfolding in front of you, naturally and effortlessly, as if it was always meant to be there. The message is simple yet profound. Stop striving and start trusting. When you release fear and rest in the feeling that your desires are already complete, you step into true alignment with life. The unseen begins to take shape when your inner world is settled in certainty and peace. You are not chasing your future, you are allowing it to unfold.